Welcome to Curiosity, Creativity and Beyond. We're at Maplewood Farm and we're with these two beautiful horses, Tom and Susie. I have my sharpener, I have my non-photo blue pencil, my graphite pencil, an eraser and a bundle of colors. And they're having their breakfast, so let's take advantage of it and let's start sketching these beautiful, beautiful horses. So first, I think I'm gonna draw this one over here on the left. And because the hay is at the bottom, I'm gonna draw like a bundle of hay there. And the beautiful body is raining a little bit, but I think we'll make it work. And I like how the neck is very long and the head is like triangular, and the ears, when she's facing down, I see two triangles, one here and one here. And she's so muscular. Oh my goodness. But I'm just doing a blueprint with my non-photo blue pencil. So I can see the hips and I can see the belly, and because she's facing at me, the front legs, I see them closer to me, and I see that she has the shoulders, the knees, and then I see the hoof here. And this is just, again, this is just a rough drawing, and with my graphite pencil I will add some detail later. And then I see at the very back the thigh and a little bit of the back leg, and because it's behind, it's going to look like it's a little bit shorter. And even the back leg, it looks even shorter, but they're all four of them are the same length. This is what happens with perspective, when things are in perspective. So I'm going to switch to my graphite pencil and I'm going to start adding some of the detail. Look at her hair is combed towards the screen left. So beautiful. So I want to make sure when I am adding hair to the neck that I kind of hint at that the hair is on that side. And even though she's moving a little bit, I have noticed her ears in my sketch. And look at her bangs, has like a couple of bangs here and there, and then a beautiful long head that ends in a little bit of a round muzzle. And now she's moved the neck, so I'm going to continue doing her body because the body is kind of still. The farmer was so kind that he put the hay right in front of us, so they would be right in front of us and we would be able to sketch them together. Has a little bit of a widening there, and then it has an amazing hoof, and the hoof is like a big nail and is not covered in skin. And that's my other leg, her other leg. These are the muscles of the chest, and then the knee. So these are our front legs. The one at the back, we have a big muscle here because they run. So the muscles that are in the top. Hello, good morning. She's just in front of the one that I'm drawing. But guess what? That's what I did my blueprint. Actually, that would be a good opportunity to draw her as well. And to compare, it has longer hair. There she is again. And she's almost in the same place as she was before. So thank you very much for that. Sketching outdoors could be a little bit difficult because animals, they move constantly. So we just do what we can. and don't worry too much. Then this is her neck, and then the beautiful, beautiful head. And this area here, you can also see it on the horse that is over here. It's much bigger. You can see the little bit of the inside of this ear. And because she's changed a little bit her perspective, I can actually draw a little bit of her eye, and then the muzzle, and then yeah, there she is. And she has beautiful, absolutely beautiful, beautiful eyes. She's going now for a walk. So guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start drawing this one, the big one. So until she comes back, I'm gonna start drawing this other horse. And this other horse has also very, very beautiful muscle, a little bit rounder. And then this is the head, and this is on the body, and he's very big. So I'm just gonna make the legs and the neck. And because he's eating all the hay that is here, I see his head going down and in profile with all these beautiful, beautiful bangs. And this is just a blueprint. So I can put all these details. And the hips are a little bit down, and this is all the belly. Just gonna make a big round circle, and then I'm gonna just draw the plane, the ground plane. And I notice immediately that one of the differences with the other horse is that this horse, I can see the legs are much thicker, much wider, and the hooves and the end of the leg are covered in this long hair at the very bottom. So that's a difference. Also, another difference, this is a male horse. We can see that there. This is our thigh, and this would be our knee, and then our wonderfully fabulous hooves covered by hair. And then I see this leg that is hidden behind, and then I see the tail. So I'm going to change to my graphite pencil while he finishes his breakfast. Hopefully it will take a few more seconds while we finish. This is our, oh, and our tiny horse comes from behind. That's awesome. Let's see. Has pointy ear, and then I see the other ear a little bit smaller, and then all this hair, long bangs in between the eyes. The muzzle is a little bit behind that piece of wood, but when it's recoiling, I can see that's better. So now that I can see that better, I see that this is a little bit triangular, that the muzzle is a little bit round at the bottom, and that there is a big nostril right here, and the mouth has also very beautiful white rim about it, and I might want to put that when I add color. The eye is almost hidden by the bangs, but it's right there. And all these muscles are very strong, because he needs to chew all that hay. There he goes. And then the neck, very strong neck, is connected. I see another piece of neck there, and then I see that in front of the neck, I see the front of the chest, and then these legs now are a little bit different. So let's draw what we see. I guess he took a step forward, but I still can see a little bit of the knee. It's a little bit thinner, and then these beautiful long hairs at the very end of the leg. And then before it takes us another step forward, there he goes. See that? And now he's back to the position that it was at the beginning. And this can happen constantly when you're drawing in nature, and that's okay. Just have to make the decision, like, how am I going to draw the horse? And then my belly is a male, and then a leg. Very strong, very strong legs. You don't want to stand behind a horse. You can kick. Then beautiful hair covering. And another thing I'm noticing as well is the change of color around here. There's going to be a change from that beautiful ochre brown into this beautiful white cream. So I want to make sure that when I color these, I reflect that. I cannot see the back leg because of the tail, so let's take advantage of that and draw this fabulous tail that is curly. And I'm not going to draw every single hair, but at least to know that this is all hair. This is the hip, that little curve at the top, and then it's connected to the spine that arches a little bit, and the highest point, as we can see there, is going to be the end of the neck. I'll look later if that part has a name. And then one thing important is to know what parts overlap, because the neck is definitely behind the beginning of the chest, and the hair is curling that way. So I'm just going to suggest the hair. There's a tiny curl behind the ear, and I see all these hair, and I think this is called the mane, but I'll have to check that later. So this is the horse while he's eating all the hay. So I'm just gonna suggest here pieces of hay. And now our other friend comes, and that's so nice because I would love to continue her sketch as well. And you can see a little bit of the rib cage protecting the lungs. And now that she's turning, oh wow, I can see that this is all white. So much detail. So let's go back to our previous one, shall we? There she is. Oh, how beautiful. I can see also the tail a little bit. The back legs are a little bit different from when I started drawing her, but I'm just focusing on the tail. It's a little bit less It has less hair than the other one's tail, but it's also curly. I'm gonna put some hay here so we know. And also she has a beautiful, beautiful drawing in her head. It's like white and it's right in the middle of the forehead going into the muzzle. She has also nostrils, and I can see one here and a little bit on the other side. And even though she's eating with all the hay in front, when she lifts her head, I can see more detail and I can add that to my drawing. Until she does that, I will sketch other parts, like for example the mane and how it all curls that way. Not as long as that one's mane, but I still see a little bit of hair over there. And also these muscles are also very strong in her, so we can totally see that that is a donkey on the background, because we have these two horses side by side. It is so interesting to see them and compare them together. Beautiful, beautiful eyes with eyelashes. And I really, really like her hair. It's beautiful. It looks very soft. Oh, now that she's lifted her head, I can see that the muzzle is rounded a little bit at the bottom. Yeah, one thing I noticed is that the muzzle is a little bit different. The other one was a little bit more curvy, and this one is a little bit more flat. So when she lifts the head, I will make sure that I look at that place so I can add more detail. In the meantime, I'm going to add a little bit of ground plane. Oops, that's not the ground plane, that's the leg. So I'll use my eraser. That was our leg, so that is the ground plane. And more hay here. Hay. She's eating breakfast. With all those crows in the background. I'm gonna also work a little bit. There she is. So until I get a little bit of a better view of her muzzle, I can see also details on the neck that I hadn't noticed before, like these very interesting overlapping lines on the neck. Thank you. Wow, the sound they make when they stomp on the floor, it's incredible. I bet he's much louder than she is. So I'm going to start adding a little bit of color, and I will work on the muzzle later. Because I'm looking at her and I see that, oh, thank you so much. Oh, beautiful. Has a little bit of a lower lip. So now I can see that she has a lower lip, which is the lower lip is very soft. I can guarantee I have touched that. And it's very soft. And also it's a little bit darker. So I'm gonna put hay here. Okay, so now I can start coloring, and it has this beautiful just gonna sharpen my pencil, and the areas that are, I think the sun comes from here, the light comes from there, so all the areas that are a little bit on the opposite side of the light are going to be darker. That's one thing to have in mind. If the horse moves like now, one thing that is consistent is the light. So even though the horse has moved, I can still add color and continue observing. Also, all the areas that are overlapped are going to be also in shadow, like the belly, the bottom of the belly, and this part here. And now that they're side by side, I can even see that one is a little bit more red. So I'm going to go back to his drawing and I'm going to use the same color, but in this case for his mane. And the light source is the same. The light comes from there. So I can use the same color that I used for the other one's body, but in this case, for the lighter parts, he has also a lighter muscle, and this transition area is also lighter. I'm going to add a little of overall tone in the areas that are touched by the light. The ears are a little bit darker, so we'll use another one. And I'm going to save some areas that I can totally see that they're very much a little bit reddish. So I have, let's see, if you have different colors, you can try them out and see if they work for you. So I have a brown. I have a brown that I'm going to use for the shadows. But one thing I know for sure is that this beautiful horse is much so I'm just using this brown for the shadows. Under the belly has a big shadow, and now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna add a little bit of red, because he has definitely, and don't worry, our horse is not gonna be red, but you're gonna see something amazing when on top of these colors I add another color we are mixing on the page. Now when I use my original color and I go a little bit darker just by pressing harder, look at this. Now our horse is starting to look very similar to that brown orangey color that we just see in front of us, and we're just mixing colors on the page as we go. Oh, I also see that there's a shadow here and things are darker here. Oh my goodness, how beautiful is that? You can hear the rooster in the background telling us what time of the day it is. I'm just going to continue adding a little bit of color. And if you don't have much time, you can color at home. You can make notes For example, leaving white spaces and making a note that, oh, this was a little bit lighter, this was a little bit darker. So when you get home, you have all your field work done and you can continue. You don't have to do everything outside. Look at these beautiful hairs. I really like how these beautiful hairs cover the hooves over there. And also notice how the tail, now that he's moved, how the tail goes from kind of a reddish to a yellow ochre to a very light yellow. So I'm going to use my red, and I'm going to add a little bit of red there as well. And I might continue these later. As I said, you don't have to. There we go. I'm adding more red because he's kind of red. And then I have some shadows. And I have some more darks. And then ears are also a little bit more red. And then I'm going to add a little bit of blue to create shadows. That's an awesome trick. You can use a blue to make shadows. You don't have to use a black. So you see, I still am adding shadows with a blue. Now we see the back leg, but before we didn't, so I'm not going to worry about that. And there's a little bit of shadow there. Definitely, I would like to add more of this color that I see so much in this horse, even on top of the blue. And leaving a little bit at the top because it's where the light is hitting. I'm going to sharpen my pencil. There we go. And also look at that muzzle. It's a little bit grayish. As we go into the muzzle, so I might add a little bit of very faded black inside the nostril and inside the mouth, and just a little bit on the eye. And just as a final touch, I'm just going to add a little bit of hay on the floor. There's hay everywhere. And our other horse is coming. So I'm going to flip my page and I'm going to also work on her a little bit before I leave. I'm just making sure, even if I don't finish it on location, that I get just the bits and pieces right. For example, her hair is the same color as the hay almost. Isn't that funny? Maybe a little bit darker, so I can go with this one on top. But that's the fun, is to find what are the similarities and the differences. And I am so happy and I am so lucky that I got to see them side by side and draw them together. Because now I can write my observations in my sketchbook. For example, this has less hair on her body and legs. Also, it has shorter mane and less curly than the other horse. And then the hooves are not covered by hair. She's definitely smaller, and she's a female horse. And one thing they both do is they move their ears where they eat. They both move their ears while they eat. And if you lost some of your lines with your color pencils, you can go back and make sure that you get your lines back. So let me add some. Here has a longer tail with longer and curlier hair, and he has this hair covering the hooves very elegantly. Also, it has longer hair. I can see all the bits and pieces, so I might actually suggest that with adding some M's in his legs here and there. M. And what other things I noticed, he also moves his ears while he eats. This was a curl that he had. And funny enough, both manes are on the right side of their necks. What? How come that is a coincidence? Is that a coincidence? Do all horses have their manes curled on the right side of their necks? I have no idea. I'm gonna have to read about that. And they both have bangs. And in case I lost my lines, I'm gonna put and that's the hay. So these are our two horses. How about that? I will add the title later. So I'm gonna add the title later. So this is our two horses. One horse, two horses. Very different, and they're both horses.